Well, then from your standpoint, like what changes are you guys seeing in the plumbing and the
I don't
hydrogen
know.
space
We're
that,
gonna start.
new techs or new business owners should really be paying attention to?
Well,
Okay.
there's so many.
Okay. So I asked my dad a couple weeks ago. I was like, because right now there's a huge push for going to trades, freaking college, going to trades,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's what huge push for. And I asked him, I was like, if we did trades like we did back in the day, like I never had shop. I never had
Shop works,
shop.
yeah.
I never
Okay.
had any of that. And obviously his generation stuff grew up with auto and word working and plastic items. So if we had that again, if we praise and all that trades like we used to, would they be better than they are now? And he said no.
Hmm.
And why is that?
The industry has changed. It's become, it kind of correlates with these 33 years free kind of companies. And what's going on now is the technicians aren't trained to do the job because they're not going to do the job. They'll go
Sure.
out and this is not to badmouth the industry. This is just a fact. They'll go out and they'll let's say run a drain and say I can't get it open.
Yeah.
Then one of the sales guys will go out, sell the job. Well,
Hmm.
now the challenge is who's going to do it because the tech doesn't know how. There's no training happening in the
Oh.
industry. None of these companies are training. They can't afford to. The costs of business are so freaking high. But the pool of plumbers is getting shallower and shallower.
Yeah.
It guys like me, we're leaving the industry because we're getting
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And the ones coming in, we have, us old guys get together, and besides telling war stories, we say in about 5 years, you're going to pick up your phone and there's not going to be a plumber to call.
Mm.
Nobody's coming to business. Nobody's being trained in the business. These classes that we used to take when I was younger, LACC and vocational schools and all these PHCC used to have training classes. They're not there anymore.
Hey, this is Josh Stockel with the Land It podcast. Excited for our guest today. We're sitting down with Don and Brandon, the father-son team behind Father and Son Hydrojetting. With over 40 years of experience between them, they're here to share what it's like building a family business, how hydrojetting is changing the game, and what it takes to earn trust in the plumbing industry. So let's jump in. Guys, thanks for being on the podcast. Really
And no
appreciate it.
worries, no worries. Excited.
We've been working with you guys for how long now?
At least a couple of weeks.
At
Now it's
least that.
almost 3 years. Oh, almost a year and a half.
Yep.
Year and a half. That's right. Year and a half. So
But
you,
I've been talking to you for about 3 years.
yeah. Oh, really? It's been that long?
Mhm.
Holy cow. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
That's probably too long now that I think about it. We probably should cut this short. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys stay around
Oh,
forever.
Is that Scorpion?
no, okay.
Shut up. No, this is not Scorpion. We're gonna definitely edit that out. No, I'm just kidding. Well, guys, tell me what it's like having a father-son duo in this industry. Like, tell me the history here with this.
Well, I'll tell you a story. It goes way back when. My son was about, how old were you? About 7 or 8 or 9, something like that?
Which store is this?
The one where you're supposed to help me dig.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he says, Dad, I want to go to work with you. All
Yeah.
right. So I said, I'll pay you $200 for the day. I said, he goes, all right, I'm good. So we had to go out early. It was at a church, and we had to dig
Uh-huh.
up some sprinklers and replace sprinkler heads and such. We get out there. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. He starts to dig the first sprinkler up, says, okay, I'm done. Doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Goes and sleeps in the van. End of the day, to this day, because I never paid him, to this day, he still wants his $200. That's how father and son really started.
So he should know because one of my first jobs ever
Uh,
was I was paid $20 a week to mow the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I paid my best friend $10 a week to mow it.
Yeah.
So
My son's really good at the back end of the business.
yeah. Nice.
So he actually came to me about almost 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Almost 3 years ago, and says, "Hey, Dad," he was a barber, a very good one, and he says, "Hey, Dad," he says, "how'd you like to start our own company?" And I was working general manager for a large plumbing company, and I said, immediately said, "Yeah, let's do it." And father and son was born, and it's haven't regretted a day of it since. We've made some major mistakes, but we're moving and shaking, and my son is 99% of the reason.
Yeah, we start
Right.
off with nothing. We start off with
Nothing.
no clientele.
$8,000
Wow.
to start.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And then we have over 450 now. It's growing. We have a really good group of agents that we work with that just keep on calling us and
Real
that just keep
estate
on
agents,
growing. So really, it's come a long way. And
Yeah.
5-star reviews.
How many is it at?
80.
it's at no, it's at
Oh, did we get one today?
it's at 79 5-star,
Okay.
1 4-star with no words, and 1 1-star.
Well, we
that
still
was
want
a
the boxes.
that was a 5-star, and then turned to 1-star, which you can read about it on our thing. It's pretty fun.
Google. Yeah,
Oh, man.
It's
Yeah.
a wild
That's-
review.
Well, I mean, great job to hit that kind of number in the services, one of the trades. That's really hard to do.
And that's also just asking. No,
Yeah, we don't. We'll do this for free if you give us a review. We don't do any of that.
And then that was
Mhm.
before any software. I was just, hey, do you mind?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How important do you think that is? The whole review system for your
Yeah.
business.
With Google,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google wants to
I mean, we push it too.
yeah, like Google wants to see that people trust you.
Yeah.
And people want to see that other people trust you. I mean, it's just the same thing of if you see somebody else that does and they like it, you're more inclined to use them for whatever reason, if only because you have a feeling about it.
Right.
And luckily people trust us, and we've done a good enough job with them.
Our client this morning found on Google, and he called us because of our reviews. And then today he left us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Yeah. I talk to people all the time who freak out over like that 1 1-star, right? Or 1 4-star. And I really believe, and again, I know I've been doing Google stuff for like 10 years, but I believe that if it is too clean, if you're hitting the 80 mark and it's all 5 stars, I'm really going to wonder if it really is legit. Then I may not even trust you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do the same thing when I look up companies. I'm like, there's got to be some dirt in there about somebody that wasn't happy. What if it was stupid? There's got to be 1 and 2 in there that just don't make sense.
Right.
If they're all 85 stars, I'm like, are these really real?
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
You make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And sometimes we don't even make a mistake. It's just that person just didn't like you or didn't like the way it was done, or the way it's communicated, right? Like, and honestly,
yeah, we throw away the boxes in front of them.
Trash.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then
The 1-star review was basically they stole my boxes.
Oh no. You're like, all the parts are installed. Do you need this box? What are you gonna do with that 8 years from now?
Yep.
Your dad.
Yeah,
So anyway,
and also I will say it was for a toilet seat.
Oh, you can take it and use it. It's like when you save your cell phone box, right? Like, I see videos all the time. Where like, it's okay. You can throw away your boxes. I know someone needed to give you permission.
Well, the funny thing is, she knew it after we had told her we're going to take away all this trash. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is.
The important part, honestly, obviously the most important is just keep doing a great job, and then you won't have as many of those. But the second part is that when they come in, it's how we respond, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So like I think even for me, when I'm looking at a business and I'm researching and I'm questioning if I want to use them, if I see a 1-star here and there and stuff, the very next thing I'm doing is, well, what did they say back? How did they respond? And if they were just a jerk in their response, then I'm not interested.
Yep.
But if they were professional and it seemed like, oh, sounds like the truth is somewhere in the middle, then totally fine. I get that.
Yep.
So I think that's real important is how we respond to them and not just leave them, open-handed and empty.
No.
Of course, it all comes down to customer engagement.
Yep.
How you engage with them, both good and bad.
That's
Right.
why he got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so tell me then, let's shift gears here. You guys are hydrojetting, right? And then we built a new website and we're hardcore onto the hydrojetting. So how does hydrojetting connect to the plumbing?
I will say though, the website is primo. So thank
Do
you.
you like it?
Yeah, love it.
Don, what do you think? You like it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
You
you
didn't share that
haven't seen it
stuff
yet?
with me. Say, shut up and go out in the field and work.
Y'all.
We Don, just so you know, since you haven't seen it, we made you at the very front cover. And
Yeah,
you have a
man.
Mario and Luigi hat on. And
There
it
you
says,
go.
I'm a plumber on your shirt. So
Love it.
I mean, Brandon said it was okay. So
I tell my customers, my son is the back office. I'm the eye candy.
there you go. You candy. That's what I'm calling you for, is because you're the eye candy. So to help us understand, I think there's a lot of people who don't even know what hydrojetting is. And so help us understand how to connect the dots between just general plumbing, a plumber, and hydrojetting, and how those coincide.
I've heard this speech so many times, but they haven't.
Okay. The best way to understand hydrojetting as opposed to the old style way of cable with blades.
Mhm.
Cable with blades opens your line, gets it
Mhm.
open, that's a drain. Hydrojetting cleans your line. So what it does is it takes water on a special nozzle. It's designed to, it spins inside the line. It centers itself in the line, and then it spins at
Mhm.
about 4,000 pounds of pressure. The holes that are in this nozzle are like needle size holes.
Yeah.
So when it goes 4,000 pounds, they're like razor blades.
Okay.
You put it in there, we can remove every single root in the entire circumference of that pipe.
Hmm.
So there's no root left when we're done. And that's how we model our
Right.
hydrojetting is we don't leave roots behind. We don't how should I put this? We don't hocus pocus the job. We don't leave
Mhm.
roots and say, oh, see, we still can't get the roots out. We get them all out. They can come out.
Yeah.
So that's that's the difference. Cabling is a quick way to open the line so you can get relief. Hydrojetting is a
Okay.
way to clean that line entirely from the house city sewer connection.
And the upside too is that you can use it on roots or grease. It's not just one thing.
Oh,
that
the
you can
grease
do,
too. Yeah. So you can pull all that and knock all that stuff out.
especially for like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That is cool. I used to own a restaurant. I remember that being a huge problem.
Oh, is that with the bagels?
No, the pie. We used to have PJ pies. Yeah.
Okay.
All this, we did seasonal sweet pies throughout the year and swap it. I know. I'm like big old burly guy. What am I doing with pie? But yeah, I used to be a baker and did pie for fun and then turned it into a
Awesome.
business. And
Great.
my last podcast interview, we talked about that. It's kind of like when you can figure out how to sell and you can figure out marketing and then you figure out a process, you can kind of go into any business and industry and be successful in it as long as you get those three pieces like put together.
Yeah. Agreed.
So what made the shift for you guys? Why did you guys like kind of make this a priority?
The main thing, the one main reason why we wanted to do it is because we wanted to give a solution where we felt that part of the industry was just giving quick fixes.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we can actually give each client, each agent, each home, each business the care that it deserves from start to finish. And what that means is not only a clear line, but with every single service that we do for drain cleaning, we also do that with a video inspection.
For sewers, yeah.
So with that, you'll get a narrated video commentary, so you can actually see what it looks like before, if we're able to. Directly after,
with an explanation of what you're actually seeing.
Yeah. So you actually get all that, and not everybody's doing that, and not everybody wants to do that because you don't get the repeat business the same way,
right?
Because now those routes are gone for a year or two versus months.
You know, the other thing about hydrogen, I've been doing this forever. A lot of companies will tell the person after they hydrogen, okay, do this every year. I told my clients, no. I said, I'll come back in a year and a free camera, and I'll take a look at what those roots are doing after a year. Now it gives me an idea how fast they're growing, how impactful they are. You might not know, but every 3 years, every 4 years.
Right.
So, because they're always telling me, how soon should I do it? I said, I don't know. I said, I just did your line for the first time. I don't know how long it took those roots to get in there. Let's take a look at a year, and then we can set your schedule. And they love it. They're like, wow, that's awesome. Always tells me, do it every year.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I said also with going from plumbing, more of the day-to-day plumbing stuff, to hydrojetting, it took out a lot of things that cost our clients and us headache and prices. The amount of parts has gone down to nil. The amount of liability is out there has gone down dramatically.
Trying to find manpower.
Exactly. So we're able to actually do more and better with less of a headache.
Nice.
And I think the final straw for me was, for me, this is a legacy. I'm going to be retiring in a couple of years, no matter what my son says.
It's like, no.
I wanted to pass on something that I knew would kind of be seamless. Trying to teach plumbing is so involved. And unfortunately, the industry, maybe for a reason, because I think I was this way when I was younger. If an owner of a plumbing company never did plumbing, they don't get any respect from the techs. because the techs go, you haven't walked a mile in my shoes. You don't know what it's like. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Whereas I can teach hydrojetting from the ground up. It maybe take them 6 months, 9 months to really get the hang of how to do it. And then I can walk away with knowing that he can sustain the business, hire people, train them, and grow the business properly.
Wow.
That's another reason why we changed.
So the pro then is it's less staff, less of a training curve. You can, your overhead costs are getting a little bit lower as well, right? So it's a win for the company.
Yes.
But where I'm wondering though is the technology, because especially with this, and that's why I'm glad you brought it up, Brandon, is the technology piece to do video inspections with this, and then the camera piece. Like, obviously, that clearly everybody will love the value of that. But how do you grow with the technology? Like next year or 5 years from now, we got AI stuff, we've got software updates, we got all this stuff changing and shifting. Where do you see that going?
If you sleep on it, it will pass you by. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you have to go to the conventions. That's why you have to stay on top of even the brands.
Well, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm actually going to be going off to Colorado in July, so I can go take a training course just so I can make sure that I know all I need to know for a sewer inspection.
And
Nice.
Get certified by
Nice.
Naki is the cream of the crop when it comes to into home inspection and sewer inspection credentials.
Okay.
So that's what, make sure you keep on going with the ongoing education,
Yeah.
but also get yourself with brands that stay up with themselves.
Yeah.
Like we
Okay.
work with one brand, EPL down in Orange County. They not only obviously sell like a hydrojetter, they can sell you one, but they also have made tools for the trade as well. So they
Okay.
are all looking for ways, and just staying in touch with them. Like, hey, we have this new thing coming out. What do you think about it? Tell me more, because I have no idea.
Building a better.
Yeah.
Because as it is for hydrojetting, we probably have about 18 different hydrojetter heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
And each one is something
Like
different.
size?
For
Is it
size
like
of,
function or just size of pipe?
it's for function and size. So, if you're going into a 6-inch line, you need a special kind of nozzle for that. Otherwise, you won't be able to do the entire circumference. Same thing today. We used a totally different nozzle with a totally different hose because we did a 2-inch kitchen sink line. We have 9 nozzles for those and a special hose. So that's what Brandon's really good at. And obviously I give him my feedback because I've done it forever, but he makes sure that I have what I need to do that job right.
Right.
And honestly, it's where financing comes into play, because these toys are not cheap.
Yep.
Let's say, I can't imagine that they are.
No, I mean, there's new camera I just saw.
Oh, the backpack one?
No, another one. It goes for 30,000 for the camera. But you're able to, this is like down the road, cool for me. It's you can actually move the head in the pipe.
So it goes.
Oh, so you can get to a spot and you can kind of look closer at the wall of the pipe, or turn a corner and look.
Yep. But it's literally double the price.
Yeah.
Of what every other camera is. Yeah. And there's a reason why. I mean, that's awesome. But you have to have the amount of clientele to actually sustain that expense.
Yeah.
So that will come in time. But like, all these things are just newer. Like, and we're talking about even descaling.
Yeah.
We do descaling too, which you can talk about.
So descaling is dealt with cast iron. Cast iron pipe has a useful life as any metal pipe.
Yep. Cast
iron breaks down from the inside out. So I'll put a camera into a cast iron pipe. It's so screwed up and the bottom's flat, not round, because all the scale to the bottom. Well, we have a machine that has special chains with cutters on it. We put it through there, and when we're done, that cast iron looks like it's brand new.
Really?
Yeah. So he scales that cast iron, saves the client a ton of money, prolongs the life, and more importantly, the worst cause of cast iron failure is water sitting in the pipe. Yeah. So when you get rid of all the scale, that water fluid, it doesn't sit in the pipe.
Wow. I remember that my childhood home, the cast iron pipe it was a 2-story home, and right in the ceiling, boom, just busted through, was shooting water everywhere because that cast iron finally eroded till it had a whole side blow out. So you're saying that's
and
water
the side. Yeah. And I mean, this technology for descaling is 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that old. And we actually found a machine that does it that weighs 40 pounds compared to the usual machine that people normally use is about 200 pounds. So some small things like that if we're able to do a job, do it as well, if not better, and lower the liability of you and your
And the
techs,
cost to the client.
Yeah.
you're good to go. Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome. How do you deal with like new homeowners and trusting? I feel like plumbing industry, some in the roofing, you've got people who are like, man, I know I'm not getting messed over by these guys. Like, they're wanting to do this fancy camera stuff, and I don't know, can I trust them? That my parents, their old plumber doesn't do that. And so how do you get over the hump and help these newer homeowners to trust you guys?
I actually have a story about that, if I can take this one.
Go for it.
So about 3 weeks ago, we went out to a lady's house where I did the sewer inspection for the buy of the home.
Okay.
And they ended up getting the home. So we went out and they needed to replace her water heater because it had failed.
Mhm.
So get involved with everything else, tell her everything. She agrees to do the job, but they're older. They're like in their 80s. And I
Okay.
always made a rule. If somebody's old enough, I need to get other people involved if there's possibility of having that done. So I asked
Right.
her, I said, because her daughter was at the sewer inspection. I said, would you like me to get your daughter involved in this? And she goes, yeah, could you? I go, sure.
Yeah.
Got the daughter involved. Turns out she had a home maintenance policy. She got the water heater replaced for $95 plus a couple of $100 to do some extra work. We saved the lady like $2,000.
Wow.
And the daughter says, can't believe you did that. I can't believe you actually called me. I said, well, your
Mhm.
mom's older, your dad's older. If I don't call you, we do the job. You're
Yeah.
going to get PO because I didn't call you.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? We got a customer for life now. She loves us.
Yeah.
That's the way we do business. That's how
Yeah.
you gain trust. And then that person will talk. A lot of our calls today are referrals.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because of our 5-star reviews. So a lot
Yeah.
of them they know us before we walk through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually
Yeah,
had clients
no.
say that we had one of our techs go out and see.
Mhm.
We brought such a report. He's referred us
Yeah.
2 or 3 clients.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great guy. But that's just the best part is just the relationships you build with the clients.
Right.
Talk to
Do
them
you
slow.
do you do any incentives for referrals?
No,
No,
we
no.
do not.
Wow. So
No.
they're just straight up like, hey, these are the
Referrals.
guys
No.
I use and I like them and they do good
Yep.
work.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we probably get 4 or 5 a week.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
so-and-so with me. And I'm like, I'm trying to remember who's that.
Right.
But when you were talking about how do you gain trust, you talk to them like normal people.
Right.
You show them instead of tell them. And my bottom line is, look, whether you get it done, I always tell my clients, whether you get it done by me or somebody else, you need to get it done.
Yeah.
I said, price is fair. If you want to shop it, I have no problem with that.
Right.
I know I'm fair. And when you talk to people like that, they just seem, they're like, wow, he's actually telling me to go get other estimates.
Right.
No, we stand up. And I
Right.
said, after we're done, if you decide to talk to somebody about it, I guarantee they're not going to tell you we rip you off because we don't. We're a fair price company.
Yep.
We do the job right. One of the bigger things too is we offer one of the best guarantees in the field in the industry. We offer a 5-year warranty on plumbing work, a 2-year warranty on hydrojetting, which nobody does that because we do it right. We use parts only from parts houses. We don't go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and we stand behind our work.
That's awesome.
So
That's all. I feel like there's a recipe here that I'm like, how are you doing that? How are you like profitable when you've got this expensive equipment? You're giving free camera inspections year after, and then and then you guys got all these warranties and stuff. I mean, I as a homeowner, I'm like, I love that. But for you guys, I'm like, how do you still stay profitable when you've got so many advantages you're giving to your clients?
You have to know where you are financially as a company.
Mhm.
Know what you're able to walk away from. To how much you can play. Because it doesn't cost us to do a free camera inspection. No,
Nope.
But it does and it doesn't.
in time and gas. That's
Exactly.
it.
That's it.
Yeah, time and gas, right?
But
Yep.
by the amount of trust that you gain from your client, knowing that they not only spend the money to do plumbing, which nobody likes doing. Nobody likes paying for
No.
a carpenter or tradesman. It sucks.
No.
It just
Yeah.
does. I'm gonna go to
It
the
does.
automatic. You don't like it.
Yep.
But when you go and you can feel good afterwards, like, oh,
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah.
But
That's
it
good.
really comes down to you have to have the ability to know where you want your company to go in the future
Yep.
and where
Yeah.
it is now. So it might not always be, it might not always make to everybody wise financial sense,
But it does.
but it does.
Yeah, it just
100%.
does. If I go do a camera, let's put it this way: if I did a camera inspection today, and it was a pain, I had to go into the house, I did all this. I'm not
Right.
coming back for free. It's not a standard cleanout. However, 9 times out of 10, it's a clean out right in front of the house. I pop the cap, I put the camera down. It takes me all of 15 minutes. I'm done.
Yeah.
Someone can afford to give away 15 minutes.
Right.
And it like customer that peace of mind of knowing, hey, my pipe's still good. You know what I mean? Or holy crap, I'm glad I had you come back because now look what we're
Right.
seeing. So
You're hitting the topic of lifetime value, right? That's really what that is. And I don't think that gets talked about enough in all of these different businesses.
you have to.
It's not a one and only time, like especially in your trade where it's like a plumber may need to be called upon multiple times in a year. And the next time they're going to be like, well, who did a great job and we trusted them and they gave us some freebies or really nice, customer service. So therefore I want to come back. And now when it counts, they're ready to pay for somebody or need to pay for someone. You're getting that job, right? Lifetime value.
And the trick there is to stay honest the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been in this industry for over 45 years. I got to tell you, once plumbers get that trusted client,
Yeah,
it starts to get stupid because now they're like, yeah, baby, they're not going to question pricing. I can't tell you how many calls we get because I used the plumber and for some reason he just shot that price right up on, and it was like,
right.
You get the trust and you think you take advantage of them. I have 2 rules in my business, period. Don't mess with senior citizens or single moms.
Yeah, that's a
Don't
good one.
do it. They're
That's a good one.
hardest things in life. I told my seniors, I said, look, you're in the preservation stage of your life. You're no longer earning an income. You're trying to save what you got. So I'm not going to gouge you. Now, the guy that's 25 years old, working full time and has his whole life in front of him, he's paying full retail. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the seniors and the single moms who are struggling and such, they get the discounts. They get the sometimes freebies of what I'll do at their house while I'm there. That I have no problem with that. I can sit and talk to a senior, even though I am one. We'll sit and talk. My son, I'm like, are you done?
Yep.
We'll sit and talk forever. I love being in front of people like that.
You
I
know
love my
the
business.
well, I love that. I love that you consider that. Funny timing. I got a report from our city today that our water, there must be a leak. It's like 9,500 gallons of water in the past 3 days, and we were out of town the last 2 days. So I'm like, what happened? And the sprinkler wasn't on. Like, we cannot figure it out. We're like, we're wondering actually if it's a city problem, like their monitoring service, whatever. But we were literally looking at plumbers like an hour ago, right before this interview. But what I'm hearing then, Don, is that I need to take my truck and park it around the corner and then have my wife call and have the kids come up screaming behind her, right? Get that single mom discount. Should I?
It's so funny. I have when I run into to clients who are single ladies, and no matter the age, and I'll say, I don't know what's going on, Don. I get these prices that you wouldn't believe and all this other crap going on. Do me a favor. When you call a contractor, put a ring on. Watch what happens. Watch how your pulse lowers. And then say, you know what, like what environment, let me talk to my husband tonight. And you'll see a total difference. And I don't know why it exists in this industry, but it does.
Yeah.
I treat it the same unless they fall into those 2 categories. But no, don't have your wife stay there with your kids. And meanwhile, your pictures all over on the walls.
Yeah, I know. Well, good point. I didn't even think of that when he walks around. Oh, he's gonna see. So what does your business look like the next 5-10 years? I know, Don, the mention of retirement, but like as a company, for your employees, for y'all's services and what y'all are doing in the community, like how does that look the next 5-10 years?
I'm the only employee. I'm his number 1 employee.
Yes, she's my number 1.
Number 1, number uno.
And one way we're able to keep it smaller is personally, I don't have ambitions to be a next gen Roto-Rooter going across the country and having that.
Okay.
That is not a goal of mine. My goal is to take care of my area, which is LA. And I'm born and raised here. I love my city.
How many trucks do you want to get?
I would like to get up to 5 to 7 trucks.
That's it.
Okay.
And go, we're talking what? Probably a staff of 18.
Okay.
Yeah, roll and go.
What?
He wants to build a business to where it's profitable enough so you can get.
Oh yeah. So I can one day get Ford Raptor.
There
Like,
it is.
Like
There
that.
it
I
is.
was, and I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine. Actually, you know him, Chris
Oh, yeah,
Klein
yeah.
with the, yeah. I
He was our
talking
first plumbing client years ago.
Yeah? Yeah.
Chris is awesome.
badass.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And,
was wild.
I was talking to him, and then he had a buddy who he had a truck too, just like a Raptor,
Mhm.
and he shows up to the side, and Klein goes, "Oh, so that's why my bill is this much."
Right.
And the guy goes, "Yeah, that's a truck that's going to show up at 2 a.m. in the morning when you have an issue."
Ooh, there it is. See?
And it's one of the things that's
Yeah.
like, well, if you know business, you know
Yeah.
that a Raptor or a truck, it just makes a smart choice. The big trucks, the new trucks, they make a smart choice. There's a reason why we use our Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
One reason we have a ProMaster 3500
Yeah.
with a really expensive parts inside it.
Mhm.
You know your business, and you have, please,
Tax
hopefully,
returns, yeah.
have a good tax person.
Yep.
Then you know
Yep.
what you're able to depreciate, what you're able to
Yep.
have as your assets, to
Yep.
build your
Yep.
company. So like that. So not having the desire to own the entire country and be
Yeah.
the number one, keep that no. No, I want to have a life that makes me happy. And I want my techs to have a life that makes them happy too. So the goal is, once we grow in techs, we can actually offer insurance and
Right.
retirement and all that. So that way, we've all worked jobs that suck.
Yeah.
We all
Mhm.
work jobs where you grind and underappreciate, or
Right.
you see with a company
I'm underappreciated.
who just got bonus.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like you see other companies like, oh, if I allow myself to take a little less, I might get a little more.
Yeah.
It's like no,
Yeah.
and I've learned. I remember I was watching. Actually, I was reading an article. John Favreau, when he was up and coming, and he was as assistant director, and the director told him on set of some movie, no matter what happens, the budget goes, no matter what is going on, never let the food stop on set. Never
Mhm.
take food. And I worked back in another lifetime. I used to work at Zappos.com over in
Oh, really?
Vegas. I worked there
Okay.
for 3 years.
Wow.
We had food catered in. And the amount of morale that you get when you take care of your employees
Yeah.
is huge. It's
Yeah.
massive. Reason why you don't have a high turnover. There's a reason
Yeah.
why people singing praises, even when they have to work. For us back then, at Zappos, it was a mandatory overtime during Christmas.
Wow.
No less. And you want to know
Wow.
why y'all want to do it? Because we not mind coming to work every single day.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
we also enjoy the camaraderie we have with our actual coworkers,
Right.
and have the unique ability to actually build that from the inside, to actually
Yeah.
make a place of employment that people want to go to.
Right.
Like, is it going to be easy? Hell no.
Right.
Do I expect easy? No.
In today's environment.
Right.
Yeah. But
No,
if I can, but if I can build it from the foundation up and get it to a
Right.
place I am happy as both a owner, yes, but also even if I was an employee.
Right.
Because it's down to, would I want to work in my own company?
Right.
He
Yeah.
doesn't work at the-
Brandon is you've worked with Amanda, my operations manager. You've been working with her for
And that
the year now.
is fantastic. I cannot say
Yes.
enough about her. She is the best at what she does.
I know. And that's the fear I always have is like, man, you're too good at this. Please don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
How do I
Yeah.
make it so that you love working here and you don't want to
Right.
go anywhere else? Right.
Yeah.
And that's
That's the
it's
fear.
kind of
That's
that's
the-
gotta be the
that's the
standard
real
thought
fear.
for all of our businesses. Is
That's a real
gotta
fear.
make it so it's so enticing that they want to stay long term. And it's not just about the money, and it's
Yep.
not just about time off and stuff like that, but it's even the culture, like how we
Oh,
build
absolutely.
stuff from the inside out, where they go, I fit here, like I like being here.
Exactly.
And it pays well, it does all those things too. But
Right.
I think you're on to something there, that we have to build a kind of business that people want to come work at, that even if we asked for some incredible hours, or like, it wouldn't be a deal breaker immediately. It would be, they'd be like, yeah, actually I love here. It's going to be tough, but let's do it. Let's get it done.
Yeah. And with that is the ability to actually offer good pay.
Yeah.
To offer
Yeah.
fair, offer the benefits, but
Yeah.
also offer profit sharing. So
Yeah,
that
that's
way,
another one.
a fantastic way to have somebody care about where they work.
Skin of the game.
Yep. Make them part of it.
Right.
You care about the house that you own.
Profit sharing.
Right.
Do I profit sharing?
Yeah, you can profit sharing.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You better write that down. You heard it here.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
I got proof.
this is not recorded.
It's been recorded.
I think what really makes us work also is we determined the very beginning
Mhm.
to have lanes.
Yeah.
I don't go in
Okay.
his, never have, I never will, and he doesn't go in mine. We
Yeah, that's a
have
big one.
call him, and he's like, "Why are you calling me? Call my dad." I'm not
Right.
answering any questions you're going to ask me. That's not. And I'll do the same thing. Hey, Don, what about this? Call my son. I don't. We stay in each other's lanes. We've never come out of them.
Yep.
We've never had a fight.
Yep.
Because we just.
Surprise.
I know. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. We
It
Guess
is,
what? He's,
right. Think about it, that really is, right? Even
Yeah.
as a family.
Ass in the ass,
it's
too.
a big
Right?
more fighting.
If I have to answer again, what's my password? One more time.
Oh, yeah, well.
That's the one.
Case of the oldies. But we've never fought one.
Yeah.
Because we
That's great.
know he knows what I'm good at and I know what he's good at. And we don't mix.
Right.
We don't
That-
ever go.
I think that's something that every co-owner needs to hear. I think businesses that go in together, and I've owned a few businesses and with co-owners and stuff in the past, and I learned after like the third time, oh my goodness, when like day one, what are we doing? I'm not doing what you're doing. You're not going to do what I'm doing, because that will eliminate most of our problems if we just
You
stick
will.
to our lane and figure out
Yeah.
what's my gifting, what am I good at, and then I'm going to run in that lane, and I'm going to make sure that I honor you and respect you by pushing something into your lane or someone into your lane, because that's what you're best at. And then it's almost like we have superhuman strength now. We're using the powers of both persons to really run instead of walk. And I think it's huge.
And it's helped us tremendously.
And like two things that are huge, and I think just for business, for us, of course, but for business in general, is one, we have to have the trust. If he doesn't trust that I'm doing my job well, there's going to be doubt and the lanes are going to swerve. If I don't trust that he's doing, that he can do what he says,
Right.
it's
Except for one phone call that was recorded. He said, "Dad, you can't talk on the phone no more."
There will be those.
That, and also we determined from the very beginning, we are not going to do what a lot of other companies do. We're not going to race to the bottom.
Yep.
We're not.
That's good.
We're not going to try and compete with people who are doing 33 or it's free. Services.
Yeah.
Because it's not realistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. I mean, it's like, we're running billboards all over and 25 trucks a day in one location. Yeah. Okay. That is how you get your foot in the door. But that's not what we want to build ourselves off of.
Slow and sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the SEO, like in the essence of, I want to give fantastic, reliable service that just gets better in time.
Right.
Not I'm in with this great deal.
Yeah.
And then it's just good as time goes on because, you got it with a great deal.
Overpromise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
man, that's it. You're hitting the nail on the head. That's the same thing in my industry. And I think it is across all industries. Whoever's rates tends to have the lowest quality and lowest customer service. You can't have all of it excellent at all times. So I don't mind being middle pricing or even upper pricing if I know that the quality we're going to give you and the customer support is going to be like incredible. Then that makes sense. Like then it's okay, because the value to cost ratio is better. Like, yes, you're paying more, but you're getting a greater value for that cost.
Yeah.
Because we have customers that call me and they'll say, how much is that going to be? I go, well, let me ask you. And I'll tell them, I said, I'm being completely genuine with you. What's more important to you? Is it the price or is it value? And they'll say, oh, that's the same thing. I go, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
If you're looking for price, we're not your plumber.
Right.
We're just not. I said, if you want value for your money, if you want that job done right, back with an honest guarantee and all that, we are your plumber. We're at the highest, at the lowest. We're right about the middle. And I'll also use the phrasing of, there's a reason why Bentleys get made and so do Chevys.
Right.
There's a reason why, some people can afford the Bentley and some people can only afford the Chevy. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not everybody's plumber.
Right.
And I don't use scare tactics. I don't use any of that crap. You either like us and you want us to do the job because you trust us, or, go ahead and find another plumber. We're good with it.
And one thing that I've learned, and I've done for a long time, even before doing this business, that I think a lot of people either forget or they get so desperate that they don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. Not all money is good money.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And you had to be able to understand when it's not right for you, when it's not right for your business. And even like us, we have our core values. And our core values are huge. They're on our website. I talk about them at my meetings I go to once a week. The core values
Yeah.
are there not just to look good, but
we live by.
the core values help to guide the business.
Mhm.
One of them is on there that if you can't do a job safely, correctly, don't start. So which means if I saw a job, I sign up saying, okay, we have employment. We go there, we can't get the job done properly or safely, we can't begin.
We stop. We stop the job. We don't even take
Yeah.
it. Well, so you know what? Yes, we showed up, but now we've seen the actual project and it's not something we're comfortable with. So unfortunately, we're not going to move forward.
Yeah.
We'll walk away from those jobs. And
Wow.
most companies won't. I got a buddy that says, I don't walk away from anything. I'm like, well, I also know what you got going on in your business. So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's one we showed up to. I still think about it. This
Boy.
this water heater. It was in
my
it.
goodness.
It was in the garage. It was supposed to be easy. Yeah, sure, it's in the
Yeah,
garage.
he talked to us about it, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit off the ground.
And then, oh my dude, that thing was maybe 5 feet off the ground.
No more than that.
Yeah.
Had to have been about 8 off the ground with no way to get it out.
No. And you can't pipe it
Oh,
out because
man.
it's hillside.
Yeah.
And we told him we show up like we can't do
We
it.
can't do it.
You said there's somebody else that could, by all means use them.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
the last thing I want was have one of us get hurt or
Yeah.
damage one of my client's
Yep.
property.
Yep.
It's not worth
Yeah.
$34 it was gonna be.
Right.
So crazy.
No,
This
that's
business
good.
is crazy. You just got to learn to roll with it and spot the bad eggs.
Yeah.
Well, then from your standpoint, like what changes are you guys seeing in the plumbing and the hydrogen space that,
Goodness, sir.
new techs or new business owners should really be paying attention to?
Well,
Okay.
there's so many.
Okay, so I asked my dad a couple weeks ago. I was like, because right now there's a huge push for going to trades, freaking college, going to trades, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what huge push for. And I asked him, I was like, if we did trades like we did back in the day, like I never had shop. I never had shop.
Yeah.
I never
Okay.
had any of that. And obviously his generation stuff grew up with auto and woodworking and plastic. So if we had that again, if we praise and all that trades like we used to, would they be better than they are now? And he said no. And why is that?
The industry has changed. It's become, it kind of correlates with these 33 years free kind of companies. And what's going on now is the technicians aren't trained to do the job because they're not going to do the job. They'll go
Yeah.
out and this is not to badmouth the industry. This is just a fact. They'll go out and they'll let's say run a drain and say, I can't get it open.
Yeah.
Then one of the sales guys will go out, sell the job. Well,
Hmm.
now the challenge is who's going to do it because the tech doesn't know how. There's no training happening in the
Oh.
industry. None of these companies are training. They can't afford to. The costs of business are so freaking high. But the pool of plumbers is getting shallower and shallower.
Yeah.
It guys like me, we're leaving the industry because we're getting
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And the ones coming in, we have, us old guys get together, and besides telling war stories, we say in about 5 years, you're going to pick up your phone and there's not going to be a plumber to call. Nobody's coming to business. Nobody's being trained in the business. These classes that we used to take when I was younger, LACC and vocational schools and all these PHCC used to have training classes. They're not there anymore.
Mm.
Companies, I've run a few companies and the training aspect is not there. They need these guys out there humping and producing.
Wow.
But it's scary what's happening. I
Yeah.
joke all the time. I said, they'll say, well, I think I'll call Rotary. I said, okay, that's no challenge. I said, just keep in mind, the company's been around since 1959. They actually invented drain cleaning equipment that
Wow.
is still used today. I said, however, the person showing up at your door hasn't been around since 1959. He's been
No,
around.
they have not.
They've been around for 3 months. That's who you're getting. Not
Yeah.
to say the guy that showed up and has only been doing it 3 months doesn't know what he's doing, but the overall average, they don't know what they're doing. We, as a company, try to find plumbers. It's harder than heck.
Yeah.
And then they show up late, they show up drunk, they don't do the work. They
Yeah.
use parts even after being told what to do. And even though they send me pictures, I'm like, oh, guess what? You get to do it over again because you didn't do it right.
Right.
It is, and the ones that are really good, God bless them, but they want the world. They want a very large piece of your pie. And it's like, I'd love to
Yeah.
pay, but we wouldn't stay in business.
Right. Can't do
The
both.
industry's going the wrong way. And that's another reason why we pivoted into hydrojetting and sewer inspections. It's a lot less labor intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that we strive for is we want to give solutions. We want to
Yeah.
actually solve what's going on, and
Yeah.
the industry is going in quick fixes.
Yeah, band-aids.
Yeah, and then you get the callback, and then you get the callback, and then now the big job can come along because it's been set up. Which is
I
again,
wonder.
Hmm?
You piqued my. I wonder if, because I've seen this in some other industries, and I'm wondering if it's in yours as well. That is kind of Don what you're saying. Like a lot of people don't do that work, like don't have the training to really do it. So I do wonder if what we're seeing now, a trend we're seeing now, is that we've got some of these overnight, let's call it plumbing companies, who have really their big sales machines, and then they outsource the jobs. And it's plumbers who know what they're doing. So now you got 10 companies who are all outsourcing to one or two major companies who have some like guys who really know what they're doing. And they're just taking a chunk off the top, and pocketing that piece which makes them really just a big sales machine. Like they're not really plumbers.
It's not that they want to be that way, but
Right.
the pool of people just isn't there.
Yeah.
I could run an ad for a plumber, and I swear maybe 1 out of every 25 will be decent.
Mm-hmm.
And they got bad driving records. You can't get them insured. They've had accidents on the job. You can't get them insured. You name it, we see it.
Mm.
You can't take that chance. With being a new company, here's another thing a lot of people don't understand. When you're a new company, you have liability insurance, right? If you have a claim within the first 5 years, they're going to drop you. And when they drop you, you're not going to be able to get liability insurance because nobody's going to touch you.
Oh,
so you can't afford to take these risks. And in plumbing, all it takes is one bad, tightening job on a valve inside a house, and it blows off and floods the home, and you're done. Your business is gone. So it's just not conducive. It's an awesome industry. When I was in it back in the 80s and such, loved the hell out of it. It was much different playing field. But today it just changed too much. And the internet has really messed a lot of things up. The internet has screwed things up bad. So people no longer, they can compare you now over the internet. And inevitably, 9 out of 10 calls that we get, the first thing out of their mouth is how much? I go, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't have a picture of it.
Right.
Well, give me a ballpark.
I get the same thing as a marketing agency. Like, well, how much? Well, just like a plumber, I'm like, I don't just have a menu. I'm not McDonald's. I'm not going to throw everything at you. We put together a custom plan and say, this is probably for your area, what's going to fit best. And therefore, here's what the price is. I can't, till I've diagnosed it, I can't really give you a price. But you say that, people still go, oh, because you're not just giving me the quick dollar amount, you must be too expensive. See you later. And you're like, oh, come on.
You have to know what it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you want a random number, it could either be $1 or it could be $1 million. Which one do you want me to say? And then when we talk, I'll give you the real number. You're hitting on one of my little things I get fired up.
It's really hurting companies right now, especially trades, because people are shopping like crazy. All it takes is a phone call to find out.
Yeah.
Right.
And really, it's again, a race to the bottom until they find the price that rings true to them. Because you can't even build value. You can't build a relationship with somebody on the phone going, how much?
Right.
Well, and the challenge is Google and all these search engines and such, whether they book you or not, whether you get a job out of it or not, you're charged.
Yeah, like that was a hard part for me when I was doing the marketing. Because I was using some, and they told me, I'm not going to name the company.
Yeah.
But they told me, I was like, okay.
Wasn't else.
No, it was a pay to play. And and I asked them, so what do I have? What can I not say? So that way I can at least get some credit back or something on that call. And they told me, the main one they told me, no lie, was you cannot seem too interested. And I'm like,
really?
What that?
Yeah.
Like I can't ask too many questions.
If you get their address, if you get their phone number.
Yeah, if I say I'll call you back, any of that. Yeah. No matter, and then from that point on, no matter what I said, the call was not going to get credit back. and I burned money. I burned a couple thousand. Oh, it felt like maybe like a week and a half, all because it was all gone.
So I'll tell customers, and this is a true fact,
Right.
and I never badmouth companies' prices because I don't know what it takes for them to run their business.
Yeah.
But I'll
Sure.
tell you right now, a company that has 30 guys and just a boatload of equipment, their overhead is going to be dramatically higher than ours. Dramatically.
Mhm.
Just their advertising campaign is going to be gargantuan.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're ripping you off. They have to charge those prices to make a living.
Yeah.
Now, the consumer's choice is, okay, maybe I don't go with that 30-man company. Maybe I go with a 5-man company who has a lot less overhead, and their prices should reflect that. Of course, sometimes it doesn't, but
Mhm.
it should reflect the fact that his overhead isn't that high like us. We're a father and son with one guy that helps us out. Our prices can be a lot lower because our overhead's not that high. Not that
Right.
we're doing cheap work or, then people will say, oh, that's not a real plumber. You can't charge that much. Well, yeah, we can and still make a profit because we're very small. Our overhead, we really cautiously, he is just tremendous at knowing what our overhead is, knowing what we have to charge. When he knows that it costs $197 just to start the truck, we know those figures and we can price accordingly. These other companies, and trust me, I've been in these companies, their overhead is sky high.
Yeah.
So I don't badmouth companies, and when I talk about not training and all that, I understand, and I'm not giving them a hard time about it. It's the way the industry is. They
Right.
try the best they can to provide the service they can, but it's
Right.
next to impossible today.
And
Well,
it's
and
not
the other thing
how-
too is marketing is expensive in the
Oh,
plumbing.
it's way expensive.
Like-
even like we've had combos too. We're doing SEO and web design for you guys. And the good part about that is it's organic, so you're not paying
Yeah.
ads.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
On the ad side, the cost per click, and even in
Yeah.
like average locations, can be like
Yeah.
$30-$40 click. In LA, it's like, you guys know, stuff is just even
Yeah.
more expensive.
Yeah.
Especially in what we're in now.
Yep.
What we're in right now, everybody wants to be in.
Yeah.
Yes, and so everyone's fighting for that space.
Yeah. So
So
we get
yeah.
it, and we're all up against the same, and we're dealing with these giants, next gens, and all these that are
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
outbid everybody on these leads.
Right.
So it's like we try to get our straps, and that's why we organically build these relationships to get called,
Yeah.
get referrals,
Great.
because that's how we're going to survive.
Right.
Oh, him, by the way. I just go out, literally. I go out there, I do the work. I talk to my clients and all that, and they love me because I've been doing it so long and know what I'm talking about. But in reality, he's the one that's done everything.
Mm.
He hopes I don't screw it up.
Right.
No. Like it's
Maybe
That-
no.
that's where the lanes come into play. Like I'm good at what I
Yeah.
do. I'm good at what I. Can I be better? Yes. Can I be worse? So hell yeah.
I can't
But-
be
Yeah.
better.
I'm good ready. And he has experience where, I mean, not to age you, but when you started, how many drain companies were there?
There wasn't very many. I started with a company called the Drain Surgeon.
Okay.
Back in 1980, and I started as a dispatcher. But I
Nice.
remember the owner of the company sat me down. He says, "Hey Don," he says, "I'll tell you right now, if you want to be rich, wrong business." He goes, "Don't do that." He goes, "But if you want to make a good living for the rest of your life and provide for your family and all that, it'd be the best job you ever got."
Mm.
I took that to heart. They trained me for 6 months with no, just minimum wage, just how to clean drains. No
Wow.
plumbing, how to clean drains.
Wow.
And that's unheard of today. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I got mentored by some
Imagine.
good guys. Some really, I hated the owner with a passion when he was at home, but in the business, I respected the hell out of him because he was just a really good owner. So I
Yeah.
got lucky, mentored by some really good guys, and when I try to
That's good.
carry on and pay forward, and that's what I'm trying to teach him is, it's a slippery slope when you start going the other way.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
start going the other way, you can't come back because the money's too big.
Right.
You're used to that money. I said, just be fair, just be honest, give them
Yeah.
what they ask for, and we'll grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but everything I learned about that is from him. Like how to deal with clients, how to deal with the relationship, how to not just the phrase I hear about once a day, maybe twice a day is don't make mountains out of molehills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just see
How
what
as you see it.
see what you see, be honest.
Yeah.
What I mean, hell, we did a string of sewer inspections, like 15 in a row. They're perfect.
Mm.
Nothing. Right. Okay. That's 325. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also okay. we're not in it to like every single call.
Man.
There's a seismic crack right there. Oh, and
They're gonna red tag your home.
Oh yeah, no God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Road to your home.
Oh no, like we have seen those
Okay.
and from other companies that types have told us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
guys.
wild.
Oh, we might have to leave the house for a while they redo it. Like, huh?
The city's gonna red tag your home.
Yeah.
Gosh, see, we don't deal with any of that in Texas, right? Because we don't have any. I'm like, that's such foreign language. And if I heard that in Texas, I'd be like, get out of here. I know what you're doing.
It's pretty commonplace here.
Yeah, but it's like, but everybody learned how to actually build a business with integrity, and also how to build a clientele base properly. I learned from that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good job, Don. Brandon, I don't even know if you know this, if I ever shared it with you, but when I was in high school, I did lifeguarding every summer, and I would work like crazy hours just so I didn't have to work through the school year. But come Christmas break and spring break, I'm home for a week, and there's no pools really open during those times. So my stepdad was like, well, I'm friends with a master plumber down the street, and I've asked him, and he would love for you to come jump in the truck with him and with his crew, and you're going to drive around and do plumbing for 1 week at a time. I did not like that very much. And I was the gopher, you know, like they were like, we're not going to teach you everything in a week. Like you can't do that, but we're going to give you the dirtiest jobs. And the thing I did learn, I still kind of remember, was how to thread a pipe. They taught me how to do pipe threading, and I would be the pipe threader and run it to them and give them the new next pipe. And I felt like accomplished. And then
the newbie.
Do what?
So nothing like the go for the newbie.
No.
Well,
awesome. And the master plumber had said to me, Josh, this is meant to make sure you don't just try and jump in a field and think you know it all and just waste your time. He goes, but if you do find that you have an affinity for it, he said the same thing. You can he was like, I make a good living, and we can really scale this and grow this as far as we want it to go, but don't just play around with it. Don't just kind of show up and think that you just got to sell the job and just, unclog a drain and now we're good. And we're going to make millions. Yeah. You got to get serious.
Well, I was talking this over with a girlfriend, and I talk about this all the time. And I was talking this over with somebody else recently, and it's, where is your satisfaction level?
Yeah.
Like where is happiness? If it's a Bentley, okay. If it's going to a ball game once a month with family, okay, like you gotta figure out like where your happiness level is, because if it's at the moon, your business is also gonna have to adjust for that as well.
Yeah,
and every single call might have something more.
Yeah,
I want a Bentley. I know nothing, but I talk about myself. But yeah, it's
a Raptor, right? That's happiness. It's with that Raptor.
Yeah, guess what? Guess what? He's not buying the Raptor from California where they mark it up 20, 30 grand. He's going to drive to Utah where there's no markup.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go over there.
There
and I can
you go.
If I can get a Raptor for $82,000, and after all taxes are said and done and depreciation, I only end up owning it for $18,000 to $20,000.
Yeah.
But I have the assets of $82,000. There we go.
Yeah.
There's business.
There's my asset.
Everybody wonders, how do all these plumbers get these cars and stuff? Because we write them off on taxes because they're allowed to be.
Yep. And then now your company has a price asset, and you now have a bargaining chip if you ever need some leverage.
That's right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. There's some tax savings there for sure. Well, okay. So,
which I would tell you,
you guys have covered what a normal day or week feels like. So if you're not working, what does a day off for you guys?
Whoa.
I know you're going to say, we don't have days off. What are those?
I would say before that, the day does not start without coffee and donut.
Yeah, baby.
Coffee and donut.
Gotta have my coffee and donut.
Is vital to thrive. Yes.
And I
literally had that today.
Plumber. Coffee, donut, and a cigarette to kickstart my lungs. Good to go.
Okay, that's the guy I was riding around the van with that one time back in high school.
Hey, man, you smell turds all day. You'll be smoking too.
I was told him, I was like, aren't there some bad gases here? And wouldn't that cigarette light it up? He goes, yeah, we just put it out before we walk over to the
we don't care.
He's like, you get over it. I'm like, okay.
What were you asking us again? I'm sorry. we
But you
interrupted
just want to know, like a day off. You guys are like, hey, we're off for the next 24, 48 hours. If you were to do what is like a fun day off for you guys look like?
whatever my wife lets me do.
Uh,
Tomorrow, I think we're going to the
yeah.
outlets because she wants me to
There you
get
go.
some new polos. You're sick of looking at the polos I've been wearing for the last 6 months.
My
So,
wife
in
has
the
those too.
account happens to be a Indian casino right next door. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. You guys have that over there. Okay. Yeah. We don't have any of that near us.
yeah. So
Well,
we're going to go to the
which is a
outlets
good
tomorrow
thing.
and do that. What are you doing?
Nice.
Days off usually involve watching a movie. My girlfriend and I, we love to go to, this is gonna be a throwback,
Weird stuff.
the drive-in.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, we go to the drive-in like once or
Oh, I
twice a
love
month.
it. Yeah.
It's awesome. That is the
Oh, that's
best
awesome.
way to watch a movie. There's no
Yeah,
crowd.
we got a few of those still around here in Texas. Those
Yeah,
are
we have a
fun.
few. They're fantastic. So it's usually
Yes.
a burger joint, some coffee, and
Yeah.
a movie. And
Oh, that's
honestly,
awesome.
that's my happy place. Like I'm kind of the cream of the crop right about there.
All right.
Like
I
even
dig it.
that's why days off though.
You
You would
really
have
have typical days.
no, I mean like, and as a business owner, Josh, I know you know this, and Dad,
No
he knows
such thing.
this.
No such thing.
Is there are nights where it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and you're awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do some more work because at least I can be productive while
Right.
it's 2 o'clock and I can't sleep.
Right.
Which okay, true story, Josh and Amanda. I'm sorry. So one night I could not sleep. It was maybe 3:30, and I was awake like it was noon. I was wide awake.
Yeah.
What can I do so I can just fall asleep? I was like, oh, I can do the design for the website. Maybe 10 minutes into that design of the website,
He falls asleep.
I was out.
Oh,
out.
there it is.
It's boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring. It is vital. Amanda, it is vital when I hear that, but
Yeah, you had
it-
Amanda knocking on the door. Come on, next. I need you to get your stuff turned in. Let's go. We're
it's
trying to
so
market
bad.
for you.
So that's
well,
kind of, a lot of times, depending on the week, it's just laying around the house.
Yeah.
Especially for me, like today we did a job and I had to go up on the roof and all that. And I told my son, "Oh, today's a motion day."
Yeah,
long-
for real.
So, we'll kick back. My wife's real good about that. She'd go, "Baby, we're not doing anything today. You've had a hard week, and
That's
we'll just
rest.
relax."
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
like, yeah, my girl and I had plans to go to a movie the other day, and okay, yeah, we're going for a few minutes. I took a nap for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You just need to stay by us, let you sleep." I'm like, thank you. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, and like I always say, if it's slow, find some way to appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because when it's not, you're gonna wish you had that downtime.
Yeah,
sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
for sure. Take advantage of those islands of rest.
You have to.
We call it island of rest. There's some days you're like, it's bananas. And then there are other days you're like, man, it's kind of quiet. And it's like, then if it's quiet, go do something that is productive for your heart and soul. Like
Yeah.
do something that actually causes rest, not just
Yeah.
busy work or being busy with something else or going crazy. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, life
it's going to be better for your life.
Agreed.
Hey, one last question. This is my fun one I like to ask. What's the craziest or most memorable job you guys have just walked in on and been a part of?
Well, it's going to be different from him and me because I've been doing it so long.
Oh, sweetie, we get a double then.
Well, the fun ones are always the ones where somebody's being bad inside the house and we find it out through the sewer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did a job in Tarzana, and this was back in the 80s, and I'm cleaning a drain and I finally get it open. This thing was a pain, and back then we used cable and blades and such, and I come back with a bunch of prophylactics,
No way.
a lot. And I'm like, okay, well, no biggie. So I go to the house, and after I'm done and all that, and I doing up the bill, and she goes, so, what caused the stoppage? I said, I don't know, your kids, you might want to talk to them. I said, you really can't throw. Unfortunately for you, there was a lot of prophylactics in the drain. And she's like, we don't have kids.
Oh,
And,
no.
and I can't help. So it was dead on that the husband got nailed.
Oh, no.
Who knows?
Oh,
What if you-
that's
My hand in
insane.
toilets. I stuck my hand in toilets full of poop, down clean outs full of poop. That's just
Yes.
something you have to do, And back in the day, we were men. Men were men. We didn't wear
Yeah.
gloves. We didn't. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, today, give me some gloves. Well, shut up. Just touch the cable. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I got these little cuts from.
Yeah.
No, like for me, actually, I was gonna go down that route. We had a job over Valencia, and the backwater valve,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
broke. And I will say, to my credit, without hesitation,
Yeah, you did.
I put my arm shoulder length into a mini pit of sewage
Yep.
to find that
Oh.
little thing, and I pull it up, and it is breakfast, lunch, and dinner down my arm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're running the camera and you find a golden nugget, and the customer, everybody, it's a woman in there, she'll say, "What's that?" I'll go, "Breakfast, lunch, or dinner." Hey, it's a turd. I'm like,
Yeah.
Now, I will say one of the more interesting things I saw. I ran a camera out in LA, and the pipe was really broken in the street. And I had a little buddy with me the whole time. There was this little rat that just kept hanging around my camera. The whole when I
Just
pulled the
hanging
camera
out, following you around.
in the sewer, 12 feet
Sure,
deep.
wow.
I'd pull the camera back and he'd run to my camera. I'd put the camera, he'd run with the camera.
Yeah. Oh,
You see some, I had one more. This one's way cool. They're doing a jetter job in Hollywood, right there off of Hollywood and Highland area. And
Yeah.
really old thing. And we're jetting this place, and I'm outside, and it's like a matrix. All of a sudden, just tons and tons and tons of cockroaches start coming out of the manhole. I mean, like it was liquid.
Oh,
Just
God.
gobs of them. It was so cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That
Fun.
I think I experienced something like that during my little every week, my short-term plumbing stint. We had one where he's like, "Get ready." It was something like 3 houses were all backed up into the main
Oh,
sewer,
boy.
and he was like, "I have a suspicion, get ready." And I was like, "Well, what does get ready mean?" And at that same time, just a lava of ground just started flowing out and just started filling the whole area up, and we're all jumping back. I was like, "Oh, get ready. Okay, I see what you mean. That's disgusting." He was like, "New guy, go over there and start cleaning it." I'm like, "Wait, I have to do that? Are you kidding me?" It's like, that's disgusting.
That's when you pop a cigarette in your mouth.
Yep. The other, I'll give you guys one more too. One other one I did that we got called to a house that clogged drain or whatever, and so we took the snake, and they went in and they pulled out. It was over 100 tampons connected to the snake.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it just had clogged the whole back of the house, and it was like 3 or 4 daughters in this house plus a wife and the dad, and yeah, watching that her come out, go, "Oh, what is that?" And he's like, "Tampons." She's like just mortified. And he's like, "Learning lesson. You can't really put those down the drain. Put them in the trash."
Well, you can't. I call them sewer mice. She goes, "What are those?" "Oh, those are sewer mice." "Really?" Well, no, lady.
Well, and guess who had to tear all those off the snake? Yours truly.
Yeah, you did.
Yep, yours truly. So, I mean, I feel like I'm one of the team, guys. I feel like, pretty professional level. I could probably come up with y'all. Well, guys, I appreciate
awesome
y'all
stuff.
being on. You guys are awesome. And I love
Loved it.
hearing just everything that is going on with your company and the relationship that you two have. Don, great job raising your son and teaching him. I'm trying to do that with my teen son, trying to teach him the same thing with our business. And if this is something you want to do, we'd love to have you take it over one day, son. But if not, totally understandable, but it'd be really neat if you did. And do something together. And so I always think that's neat when I see a father son that's working together and actually it's working out and that they have a good relationship. So, but anyways, it's been fun. Thank y'all so much for being on. We're going to finish this thing off, and we'll be back on for our podcast in the next month, and we'll have another guest on. So thanks everybody for watching and joining us. And we'll see you later.
Thank you. All right. Enjoy.
Bye, guys.